Do you know toxic chemical? It is a harmful chemical substance that can cause death, temporary incapacity, or permanent injury to people or animals through chemical action on biological process. Its kinds and usage increase rapidly because of development of industry and scientific technique. There are about 12 million of toxic chemicals all around the world. Let's talk about them deeply.
Formaldehyde is a chemical substance which has a pungent smell and exists in a gaseous state at room temperature. When it contacts with alkali or strong oxidizers, it will be ignited and make a violent explosion. It dissolves easily in water and is an essential substance in macromolecule synthesis such as plastic and resins. Also, it is used as preservatives, glue, paint, and building materials. So it is very easy for us to be exposed to this chemical. The released formaldehyde has a detrimental effect on human bodies. For example, it can cause cancer, hypovolemic shock, chronic fatigue, emotional instability, atopic dermatitis, and headache. And if severe, it can make us die of toxic emphysema. But we are capable of preventing all of this disease by using formaldehyde removers. A principle that alters molecular structures of the substance is applied to the removers not to harm the human bodies anymore. The direction for use is very simple. This is just to apply with paintbrushes or spray on cracks of laminated doors that are not closed. We can protect ourselves against the risk of the chemical by only doing.
Chemical fertilizer has a severe impact on the environment. Before explaining about environmental impact of chemical fertilizer, I will talk about chemical fertilizer. It is made from nitrogen and hydrogen. By combining them, they can create ammonia. This is a source of fertilizer. This substance processed with the chemical is chemical fertilizer. Fertilizers have beneficial points depending on various plants, but sometimes it can be harmful to plants. However, many people don't know this fact, so they often use chemical fertilizer. This problem destroys the environment more and more. The biggest problem of chemical fertilizers usage is the acidification of soil. It causes hardening, so the microorganisms in the soil die or alternate, and the plants can't spread out their roots, so they can't absorb enough nourishment. As well as the acidification of soil, by continuing to use chemical fertilizer can cause the past occurrence, create water pollution, and green gases effect. In order to prevent these things, we have to use organic farming.
Carbon monoxide poisoning is the most common type of facial air poisoning. Carbon monoxide is produced from the partial oxidation of carbon-containing compound, and it formed when there is not enough oxygen to produce carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide is colorless, odorless, and tasteless, but highly. Much of carbon monoxide is generated from the combustion of briquette and car exhaust gas, and it also generated when large-scale forest fire breaks out. That makes surroundings come to become lack of oxygen. In addition, cigarette smoke generates it. The most common symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning may resemble other types of poisoning and infections, including symptoms such as headache, nausea. Affected families often believe they are victims of food poisoning. Exposure to carbon monoxide may cause crucial damage to the heart and central nervous system. Carbon monoxide may have severe adverse effects on the fetus of a pregnant woman. We should light electric car, public transportation, bike, and use electric blanket instead of briquette boilers to reduce emission of exhaust gas. And we should not process flammable materials, and we should keep fire extinguish equipment in the mountain to prevent forest fires. Also, we can reduce emissions of carbon monoxide by using electronic cigarettes.
We use agricultural pesticides to kill insects that harmful to crops and help the crops grow. So these days the pesticide have been used for many birds, but we have to know it causes enormous contamination. First, the component of agricultural pesticide that kill the insect can be detrimental not only to harmless insects but also insect natural enemies such as birds. In addition, ecological disturbing occurs because the prey of the birds are killed by the pesticide and birds would die of hunger. Second, when soil absorbs the pesticide, the soil acidifies and they leak to underground water, so they contaminate the water. Particularly because of the recent production that don't consider human health, acute addiction phenomenon is happening more than chronic addiction phenomenon that is accumulated in human body like heavy metal. So how do we solve this pesticide pollution problem? In addition of consumer, first of all, we have to minimize use of this, and using eco-friendly pesticide is good too. Also, when the soil is acidified, we have to spray alkalinity substance to that, and we have to discard the pesticide on the low. Finally, government have to regulate using and discarding of the agricultural pesticide. The efforts like this are crucial to our generations, and it helps them use clean water. We need more mature awareness of pollution for ourselves.
Medical waste is a kind of waste that comes from a medical institution, such as a hospital. It includes bandages, internal organs, syringes, thermometers, test tubes, and so on. Because medical waste often generates from certain places, such as operating rooms, there are lots of toxic substances like pathogens or heavy metals. These kinds of waste should be incinerated, but heavy metals' harmful ingredients are spread to the air, causing air pollution. When antibiotics are dumped into the sewer and soil, they can cause water pollution and soil pollution. Why? It's because of their chemical substances. Also, toxic chemicals, scrap pieces come from medical appliances can have a bad effect on waste management. These kinds of waste are not recyclable waste. To diminish the amounts of waste, new methods of not producing a lot of waste should be developed, since we cannot help doing medical practice. Also, it's essential that these wastes be treated properly under professional supervisors, so that it won't affect our health and environment. Now, what do you think about toxic chemical? Don't you perceive that you have to treat toxic chemicals carefully? We think that it is essential for you to keep solutions that we present previously. If you don't, animals will extinct and people face crucial problems of humanity in the future. Let's protect ourselves and environment from now on.